Good morning, I'm Catherine, and welcome to my hillside garden here in Northeast Pennsylvania, Zone 6. Today I thought I'd discuss a little bit about the book Square Foot Gardening by Mel Bartholomew. I know I've mentioned it several times in my different videos that I do follow a lot of his principles for my gardening, and I thought maybe there might be some new gardeners out there that would like to understand a little bit better what square foot gardening is and if they wanted to learn how to do it too. So the book that I have is his second edition, all new Square Foot Gardening, and he had a series on TV in the mid-70s, public television, that went through when he first came up with this particular plan of gardening. And the things that I like about square foot gardening are that you don't need a lot of property to be able to do it. The book recommends square foot gardening in 4x4 beds, 4 foot by 4 foot beds, because no matter which side you're on, you can always reach into the middle of the bed. Now, hillside gardening has its challenges, as I've mentioned, and I can have my beds 2 foot wide. We've tried with the main garden bed to make that 4 foot wide, and when you are on the upside of the slope, reaching down, not a very good thing for your back. So I have to be very careful how I garden in my main garden bed that's 4 foot wide by about 23 feet long. So now most of the garden beds that we build are raised beds, and we make them 2 feet wide. That way I can comfortably reach them from the downhill side of the garden bed. The other thing that Mel does with square foot gardening is he makes a mix to fill the beds with, and he has a formula of 1/3 peat moss, 1/3 mixed compost, and 1/3 vermiculite. And by having that mix in your raised bed, you don't need to dig it, you don't need to rototill it. When you go to plant a plant, you can stick your hand in it. That's how nice that soil stays. And when you, each year or each season, as you plant something new in your bed, you just add a little compost in with your plant, or you could put a little fertilizer in with your plant, and that's all it ever needs. Weeding is very easy if and when weeds end up growing in your raised beds, because the ground never gets compacted, so the seeds pull right out. The other thing that he explains is how he plants. Depending on what you want to plant will be the amount of plants that can easily grow in a square foot space. So there's less waste of seeds. You have virtually no thinning. What I do, since I keep seed from year to year, so sometimes seed will go bad. It doesn't germinate anymore. With certain things like carrots, I'll put 2 or 3 in each of the holes. In a square foot, you can get 16 carrots. So I will put 2 or 3 in each hole, hoping that the germination rate will be good. If it is, and I end up with 2 or 3 in each hole, then I will just snip one off at ground level. I won't pull it out because I don't want to disturb the roots of the other plants. This way, it also allows you not to have a concentrated amount of a whole row of broccoli, a whole row of cauliflower, a whole row of cabbage, which your insect pests will go after. This way, you can kind of mask where your plants are to keep the insects off their game. The other thing I really like about the book, and it's good for new gardeners or for gardeners with lots of experience, he explains how to grow each vegetable, and he also has very nice charts in the back that help you to know when to plant them indoors, outdoors, undercover, out in the open, when to transplant. Let me just show you one of the charts. This is his outdoor planting schedule for spring and summer crops. And based on what it is that you're growing, then you'll know whether you can plant it out direct as a seed or if it needs to be a transplant. And what he goes by is your last frost date. So there's a whole line there. That's a red dotted line under 0. And that way, it doesn't matter what zone you live in, you can buy this book and you can use it because you'll know, okay, I could do this before frost and this after frost. So it's a nice handy reference to have on your gardening library shelf, and I would recommend it for new gardeners and for experienced gardeners. So thank you again for joining me today at my hillside garden, and I hope you'll subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Have a great day. Happy gardening.